Hi, I'm Nathan Oakley and this is video log number 22. This video log is going to be based around simulation theory. Hopefully we'll have some ties back into the globe lie, not necessarily much detail on flat earth unfortunately. I really don't want to be having to do this video. I explored simulation theory based on an article that was in the New Scientist in 2006. I recently went back to that and had a look and reviewed what it said and the associating articles about string theory and so on and so forth. It's all very way out there and lots of words like mathematical and model and simulated and, you know, they're disproving gravity. To me, this says it's part of a new lie. If there is a contingency plan in place for when the deck of cards completely falls. Some people have even speculated that NASA are a fall guy in all of this and they've always been intended to take the overall flak. But they've got to have something else lined up, another form of control, another cage, like the globe. And simulation theory, in my opinion, is that. We have seeds like the Mandela effect planted into people's minds, and it seems to only affect people in the USA. I immediately investigated it as soon as I heard it and asked as many people as I possibly could what their ideas were behind the books or the DVDs of Interview with the Vampire, which is easy to confuse with Interview with a Vampire because they both sound the same when spoken at speed. It's just a mistake and nothing's changed in our simulation. Just people are mistaken. Same with Nelson Mandela. We don't get news from South America and you guys don't get news from South Africa. It's not that important to you. But I remember the Free Mandela song. I remember the Free Mandela t-shirts, and nobody I've spoken to ever thought he died before he was released. The guy's a hero. He's, you know, a legend. None of us thought it happened. You guys did because, without sounding rude, you're ignorant. Now that's not to be insulting, it is to say that you're not exposed to the information that I'm exposed to being in a completely different country. Now that's nobody's fault, in the same way as I probably wouldn't have a slightest idea what's going on with the drug cartels in South America, because it's not prevalent on our news. That doesn't mean that there's been a simulation adjust to compensate for the DVDs changing. It's a complete farce. Why would anybody jump from the conclusion that a misunderstanding about whether it's sex in the city, which it is not, and sex and the city, which is the article she writes, is just a subject for confusion, not the subject for changing or having deja vu in the Matrix. You know, these ideas about deja vu in the Matrix, or the dozen other films that seem to get referenced on these videos about the Mandela effect, are just that, fantasy. We are exposed to the same fantasy about the globe. We get deceived by lies every single day about the globe. And to me, it just seems that I've got to be passionate about this because we're only seeing through one lie because we've found proof. We've got evidence. The technological advances that we've seen in recent years have given us the ability. And indeed, the liars themselves have exposed themselves in things like the Red Bull jump, when the door opens and you see an eye-level horizon that's perfectly flat. So we've got proof. But yumming up the next lie and deciding that an old theory about us living in a mathematical certainty of you know, based in Moore's law of computers getting ever faster to the point where they have exceeded what we actually now see. This is fantasy. We have no proof. And that's the beauty of that lie. Beauty, and the thing that makes it the most terrifying. When you can have an answer like, we can't prove it because things have changed, that's scary. We can prove we don't live on a globe. That much is certain. We can get out there and prove it for ourselves time and time again. You can and I can, by ourselves on our own. But when we have simulation theory bleeding into the population through things like the Mandela effect, we're all doomed. We don't live in a simulated reality. What's real is real. The fantasies of Luciferians drifting off into avatars is fed to them by the media. They wouldn't even be talking about cloning if it wasn't for The Sixth Day and Avatar and all the other thousands of movies that use this idea. If it wasn't for the news talking about Dolly the sheep, we would have no concept of cloning. But we do. We have it because we've been given the information. I've never seen a clone. I've never experienced it. Showing me Renee Zellweger's plastic surgery and telling me she's a doppelganger is a nonsense. The idea has been used in the past, it will be used in the future. And if we're not careful and focus on facts, fact there were free Mandela t-shirts, fact there was free Mandela song, fact nobody in my country ever thought he was dead. Unless we focus on these facts, we will get caught up in fantasy, and that's dangerous. It scares me even more that it's working its way into flat earth videos. We should keep them separate. I'm all for people investigating things like the Mandela effect and clone centres, but as soon as you tie that stuff to globe earth and globe lie and flat earth and the debate in that corner, we can be discredited on many different levels. Let's keep this separate and we can all have a happy life on the flat earth. I've been Nathan Oakley. I'll see you in the next video.